Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro arrived in the city of Shenzhen, where he began a historic visit to the People's Republic of China. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arrived in India to head Moscow's G20 Summit delegation. In Russia, regional elections began to choose the heads of more than 80 regions, according to the Central Election Commission. Hello from the headquarters of TeleSUR English in Havana, Cuba. This is From the South. I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada, and these are the news. In Argentina, the Minister of Economy and candidate for the presidency of Unión por la Patria, Sergio Massa, ratifies that in the alliance he leads, unity is strengthened every day. During his intervention in an interview program of the national television, the candidate also referred to the political contenders. He maintains that Juntos por el Cambio suffered an erosion in the primary election campaign, which former President Mauricio Macri enjoys. He announced that from today until Saturday, he will meet in Tucumán with several governors, political representatives, and representatives of social movements to take the lead on December 11th and build a government of national unity in defense of Argentina.
Stop looking where there is none. We are all working together. You will see it on Saturday, you will see it on Friday. The governors, the social movement, the CTA, the CGT, they all agree on what is at stake. They are all aware of what Argentines can lose if we violate a model that in 2001 led us almost to the national dissolution. And that is what they are expressing.
The Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro arrived on Friday in the city of Shenzhen, where he began a historic visit to the People's Republic of China. In the middle of the heavy downpour, the Venezuelan head of state was received at the international airport of Bo by the Deputy Secretary of the Communist Party of China, Men Fanli, the Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs, Hua Xunyin, and Giuseppe Joffreda, Ambassador of the Bolivarian Republic in China. The visit, which aims to strengthen ties of integration and strategic alliances in the economic, technological, and commercial area, has been described by the head of state as historic. Also, Beijing, upon confirming the arrival of the president, assured that the relations they maintain are rock solid.
Rain, blessed rain, blessed water, arriving in the city of Shenzhen for a historic visit on behalf of all Venezuelans. Step by step building the new world geopolitics, building close and deep cooperation ties with the People's Republic of China. Here we are in China again. My greetings to all. It rains, it rained, it will rain good news. Greetings to all of you. Stay tuned.
And China hails ties with Venezuela as rock solid on Friday, the same day of the visit to Beijing by the Venezuelan head of state, Nicolás Maduro.
China and Venezuela are each other's comprehensive strategic partners. In recent years, under the direction of President Xi Jinping and President Maduro, China-Venezuela relations have withstood the test of changes in the international situation and have remained rock solid. Political mutual trust between the two countries have become increasingly solid, and cooperation in various fields has been deepening. China is willing to work with Venezuela and take President Maduro's visit to China as an opportunity to plan the blueprint for the development of China-Venezuela relations in a new era, to promote the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries to a new level, and make new contributions to the promotion of world peace and stability, and to maintain international fairness and justice.
And And simple as it is, bread just needs yeast, flour, water, sugar, and a pinch of salt. Benefic as it is, bread feeds, nurtures, and comforts. That's the goal of spouses Osvaldo and Tania, who have a small and artisanal bakery in Caracas that have been running for 13 years, selling their products at an affordable price. They are the example of how to be self-reliant while also community-driven. Our colleagues Adriana Sibori and Luis Horacio Gutierrez went to their apartment and brings us their story in another episode of our series Venezuela on the Move. Enjoy.
The flats in these buildings are part of the more than 4 million homes that have been granted to Venezuelan families who could not afford a residence. On the first floor, Osvaldo works on the art of making bread. The scale calculates each portion. On the counter, the dough sits for a while.
My wife taught me, and my wife was taught by God.
Day after day, mixing flour, yeast, water, a little salt, and sometimes sugar. And depending on the season, other ingredients. The profession is not forgotten.
I never took a bakery course. I say that I have learned through practice. And the more you practice, the more you learn how to make bread.
The oven does not rest. They have 10 trays, and in each of them they place the flexible dough.
Both the savory bread and the sweet bread, as well as the ham, one have been at a solidarity price. When things get tough, we sell ice cream, cakes.
The neighbors are frequent customers.
It is cheap. They have been selling the bread here for 13 years. I think it's really good, delicious to say the truth. I love their tres leches cake.
But what they elaborate the most is the artisan peasant bread, made from wheat, soft, of Spanish origin, and popular in Venezuela.
Luis Horacio Gutierrez y Adriana Sibori, TeleSUR, Caracas.
You even can smell the bread, don't you? You can find more episodes of our series Venezuela on the Move on YouTube and other platforms. Now let's take a short break. But remember, you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find the news in different formats, news updates, and more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. On Thursday night in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, recently elected presidential candidate, received the leadership baton of the Morena Party from the president and leader of the Fourth Transformation Movement, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. At the doors of the Porrua bookstore in the city or the historic center of the Mexico City, the baton was passed to the winner of the survey, who in addition of becoming the new leader of the party is also the candidate for the presidential elections of 2024. Hundreds of supporters gathered in the area where the new head of the organization pledged in the company of the country's president and governors to represent the profound values of the country and its history.
In representation of the deepest values of our living history, of the indigenous people, I take it with pride and commitment and with humility, but with the full responsibility to continue the course charted by our people, that of the transformation that has begun with the President Andrés Manuel López Obrador.
In addition to the high prices of the basic food basket, Costa Ricans will have to pay more for fuels in an increase that begins on Thursday. According to the Public Services Regulatory Authority, the price adjustment will be automatic. Super gasoline will go from $1.30 to $1.40, prices that, according to records, have not been experienced in the country since November 2022. Regular gasoline will also have an increase of $0.10 per liter, while diesel diesel will rise $0.08 and, according to the entity, will reach $12.79, while liquefied gas will go to $11.92. Citizens consider that the increase will have a direct impact on inflation, so they are waiting for the decisions to be made in the Parliament together with the Ministry of Finance. Cuban Interior Ministry authorities confirmed on Thursday the arrest of 17 people linked to a human trafficking network that works to incorporate Cuban citizens into war operations in Ukraine. Specialists of the General Directorate of the Criminal Investigation of the Ministry of the Interior informed that among the people arrested are those who belong to a recruitment scheme that operated within the island. The organizers of this criminal activity identified individuals with criminal records or members with dysfunctional families to incorporate them into a sort of network of mercenary captures, as confirmed by Colonel Cesar Rodriguez, head of the unit.
All the investigations carried out by the Ministry of the Interior have so far detained 17 persons, one of whom is the internal organizer of these activities, responsible for the internal organization of the activity, supported by 2 other persons also resident in the country, who are the ones looking for the Cubans, the nationals interested in enlisting in this warlike conflict.
Let's move on to other topics. In the Caribbean, Hurricane Lee gained strength as it moved towards the Lesser Antilles and reached a Category 5 with winds that could reach a maximum of 257 kilometers per hour. The National Hurricane Center's latest report placed the cyclone 1,127 kilometers east of the northern Leeward Islands, a group of islands in the Lesser Antilles. Experts predict Lee to register its maximum intensity with strong waves and tidal currents over the weekend and then move into the southwest Atlantic. The powerful hurricane will generate large storm surges and dangerous undertows that will affect the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, La Española, and Bermuda. And the consequences of climate change continue to wreak havoc, with at least a dozen people killed by heavy rainfall in Europe. In Spain, the Dana weather phenomenon has left 5 people dead and 3 missing, with Madrid and Castilla being the regions most affected by the floods and rainfall. Likewise, Greece, Bulgaria, and Turkey recorded at least 5 deaths due to heavy rains and severe flooding in Greece. In the last decade, the number of fatalities as a result of the floods, droughts, and storms increased 15 times in the most vulnerable regions. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arrived in India on Friday to head Moscow's G20 Summit delegation, taking in from President Vladimir Putin. In statements to the press upon arrival, Lavrov stressed Moscow is working closely with all G20 countries to find solutions to international issues. The foreign minister said the Ukraine conflict was provoked and remains instigated by the U.S., to the detriment of European security. The G20 Leaders Summit will be held in New Delhi on September the 9th and the 10th, with more than 30 heads of state and top officials from the European Union, invited guest countries, and 14 heads of international organizations expected to attend. The G20 Summit falls in line with BRICS Summit in August in Johannesburg, South Africa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi told an international media outlet that his country, since taking over the leadership of the G20, has focused on people-centered management to ensure that actions reach everyone. He said that the G20 presidency strives to overcome divisions, dismantle barriers, and spread collaboration to foster a world in which unity prevails over discord. Modi noted that for the South Asian nation, this term as head of the bloc that encompasses the world's most powerful economies is not simply a high-level diplomatic effort, and reiterated that in his term he will remain committed to broadening the global table to ensure that all voices are heard and the contribution of all countries is taken into account. Health authorities in Sweden have reported an increase in coronavirus cases as a result of a new strain of COVID-19. European health officials have warned of a new strain of the virus appearing on the European continent. The strain, named BA.2.86, known as Spirola, was detected last August by the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control. The agency urged health authorities to establish an epidemiological encirclement to prevent its spread. TeleSUR English launches its own videos on demand site for you to go and revisit our interviews, the top stories, the special broadcastings, and more. Just go to the top left corner in our website homepage and click on the video option to access our VOD platform. And now we will have a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Russia, on Friday, regional elections began to choose the heads of more than 80 regions, according to the Central Election Commission. Ella Pamfibula, the chairwoman of the commission, informed at a press conference that senior officials will be directly elected in 21 regions and 20 administrative subjects, in addition to deputies of legislative bodies. Also, 17 regions will hold municipal elections, including for the mayor and governor of Moscow, the capital of the country. The electoral authority also explained that the regions annexed to Russia last year will take part in the process. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service stated that Washington is not satisfied with the change of power in Niger, while the U.S. intelligence agencies are discussing the possibility of assassinating the leaders of Niger's new government. The Russian authorities claim that the White House is studying different options regarding the situation in Niger and considers the assassination of the new Nigerian leadership, which is largely supported by the population, to be the most effective option. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service also highlighted that in the face of the unexpected and unrewarding geopolitical turmoil in Africa, the White House decided to revert to the old recipes that, according to them, proved to be effective, asserting that Washington's use of such dirty tactics is nothing new. Officials at the U.S. military base in Niger are relocating their troops to the center of the country, away from the capital Niamey. Informally, officials stationed in the African nation had informed the U.S. media hours later. Sabrina Sain, Deputy Defense Department spokesperson, confirmed the move. The 101st Air Base is moving to the 102nd Air Base located in Agadez. The spokesperson commented that this is a precautionary measure. The announcement coincides with the release of a report by Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, according to which Washington may be considering eliminating several influential African leaders. At least 49 civilians and 15 military personnel were killed in a double attack by Al-Qaeda's branch in Mali. A statement from the country's foreign ministry said on Thursday that one of the attacks was directed at the passenger ship Timbuktu and the other at an infrastructure of the armed forces located in the municipality of Bamba in the region of Gao. According to the ministry, the attack left material damages and several wounded who have been evacuated from the place where the aggression took place. In memory of the civilian and the military victims, national mourning was decreed for 3 days. African states in Kenya propose a global tax on carbon as a means to combat climate change. The proposal was made through a document signed by leaders from all over Africa, representing at least 1.3 billion inhabitants of that continent. The text intends to implement a tax on fossil aviation and maritime fuels. It also urges the world's largest greenhouse gas generators to commit their resources to help the poorest nations mitigate the effects of the climate crisis. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, reported the highest increase in rice prices in 15 years. According to the organization, worldwide prices rose by 9.8% in August, one month after India, a key rice producer, imposed its export restrictions. In this sense, the grain increases its value due to the decrease of vegetable oils, dairy products, and grains. Experts see this as a part of the consequences of the El Niño weather phenomenon and the post-pandemic economy. And we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also join us on social media for all the latest news. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm your anchor, Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.